welcome to the latest edition of the session on good company. And with me, I have today Mr. Swaminathan, who is the head of Corporate Audit and Assurance for Godrej Industries in India. Mr. Swaminathan has significant amount of experience, almost spreading more than 3 decades on internal audit and on critical insights into business operations. Question being, Mr. Swaminathan, on if you look at the current environment where it's quite significantly dynamic and business environment is changing, from an IA function, and as you lead a large IA function, how do you keep yourself and your team abreast of what are the various changes happening in the economy as well as what are the changes happening in the profession with an aim to ensure that you work on these areas to and meet the stakeholder expectations from internal audit?
See, one of the things that is very clearly the tone at the top, where, for example, in Godrej, Mr. Godrej's one-line expectation from we as internal auditors is he doesn't want any surprises. So no surprises is the theme that we always take. When we look at no surprises, there are 2 or 3 things that we need to ensure. One, what is happening within the company? What is happening in the external environment? And how do you bring these two together? Now, how do you look at what's happening in the company? You connect with all the business heads and the respective teams to understand what is the strategy of the business going forward for year 1 or year 3, and look at long-term and short-term strategic plans. Also marry it with what is happening in the environment, what are critical changes. We just don't want to sit on a pedestal where we only come in after 3 months or 6 months and tell people what is going wrong, but facilitate the whole process to ensure that nothing goes wrong. So from my perspective, the auditors need to oscillate between what went wrong to what can go wrong, and that is the spectrum that the auditor has to play now, considering the current environment and the current business challenges.
I think that's very important, Mr. Swaminathan. As you mentioned that today as an internal auditor, you're looking at internal audit function not as a post facto sort of a thing, but how do you work with the business to embed those sort of controls or assurance procedures at the beginning so that later on you don't have any surprises and working on the culture of no surprises which you're building. So that's really fantastic. If you look at Godrej Industries, it has diverse business segments, and I'm sure that in these diverse business segments, there's be a large number of digital transformation that is going on or a business transformation that is going on.
Yes.
Now, being an internal audit function, what's your views on how is the function evolving to meet or work on these digital transformation journeys or financial transformation journeys for the organization?
I look at this digital transformation in 2 parts, where the auditor comes in as an enabler and the auditor comes in as a user of that information. When we look at enabler, I also dovetail this CISO role. So whenever there is a digital process happening, we come in from a perspective of people, process and technology. So we come in to say, the design of the process, the digital transformation process, is it robust enough and there are enough controls built into the system. Second, when we look at technology, the technology adopted is in line with the kind of digital transformation we have planned. What is the controls that we build in through that technology? And in people, we say there are adequate authorities, roles, responsibilities identified, which will take care of this digital transformation process. So we come in during the implementation and post-implementation digital transformation phase. Once that digital transformation is happening, the output of that digital transformation will be used by the audit team to kind of do an analytics.
I think the approach that you have followed, Mr. Swaminathan, and I'm sure that the tone at the top within the organization also supports such sort of a methodology or approach towards internal audit and to act as a trusted advisor for the business, and really appreciative part of it.
Sometimes, we have companies have a strong tone at the top. The auditor also needs to take that extra step. Sometimes the auditor does not take that extra step. So here we go and tell them, look, I am not somebody who will be an impediment into your process, but I will be a facilitator into your process. I will help you enhance your process.
Because today, if you look at historically, organizations have seen auditors as more like a watchdog. But I think the kind of perspectives that you're sharing is in terms today, organizations or even auditees of business are looking at auditors more from a change catalyst sort of a perspective. And I think that is the way to go if you have to become a trusted advisor from an IA function from a service provider perspective. Fabulous. In this journey which you're taking, right, from moving from that traditional auditor to become a trusted advisor or a change catalyst within the organization and helping the business, in terms of the skill sets which are there within your team, how are you working on building the skill sets, or what are your views on that, and you think is a must required for you to achieve this kind of a success?
So when you look at skill sets, there are two ways to look at it. Do you build all these skill sets that are available in the world, or you design a strategy where you adopt skill sets to meet the requirements of the audit process? What we have done is we have broken up the audit requirements into three parts. One which is very routine and hygiene checks. I would want to automate that whole process wherever it is hygiene check. The second are process level checks. Now here what we have said is we will build skill sets in-house, because I know the process much more than an outsider coming and telling me what should be the process. So the processes are something that I can build skill sets within the available talent pool that is available. There is a set of skill requirements which I can neither build nor retain. Example, risk management, data analytics, okay, information security skill sets, IT audit skill sets, okay, specialized technology skill sets, which I will never be able to build in-house. They are not at all cost effective, building in-house. Secondly, even if I build in-house, I will not be able to retain the talent beyond a point. If I take an IT engineer or an IT analytical skill engineer, I will not be able to feed him with enough work or growth potential going beyond. There is so much limited that I can grow that person beyond a level. This is where I would look at experts, where I can't supplement it with my own resources. Here I get, like, I work with Deloitte for a JV analytics project, a complete analytics program. I work with some of the best in class consultants, partners who have specific skill sets. So here the skill set which I cannot build is something that I would outsource.
If I were to ask you in terms of priorities for the next 1 or 2 years, right? So what would be your top 3 priorities from an internal audit function at your role at which you're doing, and also considering the business environment, what would be those 3 priorities?
So first is risk management, and how do we facilitate the whole risk management process. And within the risk management also there are 2 or 3 things that we should clearly focus on: reputation risk, regulatory risk, and compliance related risk. The second is regulatory. With the kind of laws that are coming in, government becoming very stringent, and we as a corporation who have been very good corporate citizen, we would not want to, and to that extent the credit goes to the Godrej family, who has been very, very particular that we will not violate any law of the land. Third is controls, and that's where the board and all the regulators, internal and external regulators, look at us. So these are 3 big focus factors. The rest are all enablers. What kind of tools we use, what analytics we use are enablers to the 3 themes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Swaminathan, for these insightful perspectives on how you are transforming the internal audit function within Godrej Industries, and how are you helping the company and the board to become more, view internal audit as a trusted advisor on their business agenda, rather than just being a person who identifies issues or being a watchdog. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it, and appreciate your time on this session of The Good Company, and look forward to having many more sessions. Please come. Thank you.